What does embodied feminine leadership look like in a world where, especially on the political space, it seems like to succeed, you need to be increasingly more masculine?
You know, I think one of the things that it's going to take is sisterhood. You know, when the age of feminism that I grew up in, let's say the 1970s, it was absolutely understood that in order for any of us to get there, all of us had to get there. Sisterhood was such a part of it. Too often, when women think of feminine leadership today, they only think of the woman herself. No woman is going to succeed today unless there's a woman to her right and a woman to her left, and a woman in front of her and a woman behind her, who, when that misogynistic comment gets made, say, stop right there. Stop right there, because I know myself, even in running, people make some incredibly disgusting comment about you that's filled with lies. Well, you can't get on yourself and get defensive. But boy, the other day, there was a man who's a well-known journalist, and he defended me on something. I almost brought tears to my eyes because I thought, where is everybody? And women, when other people say, I've read her books, and that's not what she says. Or somebody else says, that's the most misogynistic thing anybody could say. All that stuff. We have to be there for one another. You can't priest yourself, and you can't defend yourself in certain situations. So in order for women's leadership to really work, by definition, it is a challenge to the underlying patriarchal perspective, which hurts both men and women. And both men and women have to stand up to it. So the first thing we all have to do is use our tongues and say something, write something, post something. Don't think that any longer we can say, oh, well, I'm just not into that. It's just we will not get there unless we are willing to be brave enough. And then once you do, all it does is change the narrative and everybody's happy. What were you so afraid of? Now, in terms of being the feminine leader, it's so interesting because I was looking at a poll that came out the other day, and it was in the New York Times. It said Biden 60. This was about Democratic voters. Biden 64%, Bobby Kennedy 13%, me Williamson 10%. So that's pretty good, actually. That's not bad at all. But then I broke it down. They give you the tabs. Among Gen Z, we're only 7 points behind Biden. It's amazing how young people are hearing the message. You know who I did poorly with? Men. It was very hurtful to me. I did something in my work once called the Aphrodite training. I'm actually I'm into all that stuff. I'm into the geisha girl stuff. I'm into Pat Allen. I'm into all that. But I get that if I'm dating you, I've often told people, because I see it. I mean, I've seen it in my life. If I'm talking to an audience, right, I'm the masculine, the audience is the feminine, the speaker is the giver, right, and the audience is the receiver. But I've definitely learned that the same consciousness, which is basically masculine-centric, that is successful for me in my career would be a failure with a man I'm with in an intimate setting. I get that. And I am schooled in it, and I went to all the Pat Allen lectures too. I believe in all that. In politics, though, it's hard. Because then I read that, and this has been spoken of in politics, if we're coming from that place, which is, and women, no, we've been scarred by that. It's the Athena. Well, Athena, great. Athena creates in the world and all that. She's also a virgin. Nobody wants to do it, with her because she's Athena. Well, and I never felt in my spiritual career that was a problem, although for me, and I think a lot of women in my field, if a man like a Deepak gets up, women never thought we weren't supposed to go listen. But I think a lot of men in my career thought, well, she's only talking to women. No, that wasn't true. So in politics, I don't know quite how to show up for that. It's difficult. Bobby Kennedy has the whole elite bros around him. Jack Dorsey endorsed him, and Elon and Jordan Peterson, and they've all like this bro thing, this elite bro thing. I don't have any of that. And a lot of the women who are the sort of elite in that world. They're the normal Democrat lining up behind Biden. And I would love some help in that area in terms of, I don't know, you're a man, maybe you could give me some advice. Because I'm failing in